Welcome to all the classic car enthusiasts. Still working on the Mini. So the video you're going to see is where I'm starting to shim up the hinges on the bonnet. And bear in mind, when we brought this car here 6 months ago, there was no shims at all in the hinge. But because it's been fitted, it's been pulled apart, repaired, fitted, pieces put in and so on, now all the measurements are completely out. The other thing is the sill extensions where the wing edges have to sit were very poor on the original car. They were in fact falling off, so they weren't actually sitting on it properly. So now we've got so many parameters to play with, but you'll see this in the video. So you'll see two different videos, one of where I'm trying to get the thing to sit square, and then secondly where I've got the latches on, but it's still nowhere near being accurate. It's going to take some time, and it's a lot of fiddling about because you have to go from one side to the next, and it's thousandths of an inch, well not thousandths but certainly millimeters. Anyway, just a quick one before I'll show you the video. I made a mistake about the Mini Sport. What it was is this is the actual thing for the seatbelts, and they're 25.46 each for the front ones, for the front, and 26.15 for the rear ones. Not 12. The £12.50 or whatever it was actually the postage out to Austria from Manchester, I believe it is. So it wasn't a mistake. I did call them and say to them, he said, no, that's just the packing. The postage is what you get on the outside. So, as I say, enjoy the video. I hope you like it. Sorry I misled you about these seat belts, but things happen. I hope you enjoy, and I will be starting to work on get the Mini, look at the Mini, because I need to order new sills for it. I have some cover sills which came with the car, but they're rubbish. Sean was always talking about it, and most people, but they are rubbish, the oversills. That's exactly what they're for, to cover rust. Anyway, enjoy the video. Thanks for the thumbs up and the comments, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now. Take care. So welcome to the E-Type bonnet again. Okay, what I'm trying to do now, as I said, Amir's gone off for his 2 weeks break. I won't cut any of this off, but I just wanted to show you. You can see there where I've actually cut a piece off, and you can see it's like rubber in there. In fact, I'll get a knife and I'll show you. Just a second. You can see it's quite easy to pull that out a bit maybe. See, it's quite easy to cut. And then just go down the back. I won't do it now. You can see there's a little piece that I've cut there. And there. And you can see that it's rubber inside there. There's a piece hanging down. And then you can just take that bitumen off, or you can take it off with a sandpaper or whatever and cover over it. You can see how nice and thick the joint is, and it's rubber. So, the most important thing right now is trying to get this bonnet to fit. And basically the way the system works is you have shims like this. This is the ones out of my E-Type version. You can see they're a bit corroded. And these are new ones, been made up from S&G Barrett. The unfortunate thing is they're all the same thickness, which is a bit of a pain. So if you need just a mill, you have to actually just make one, and then they're designed so that you can slide them in from that side under the bolts. Now the situation right now, as you can see, there's 3 shims. Hopefully you can see. I'll try and zoom this in a bit. Yeah, you can see there are 3 shims under there. What it now needs, it'll need shims on these top ones. So what I'll do now is put shims in, I'll undo these bolts here at the back and put shims between the actual hinge and the lower panel. On this side, it's not actually, what's happening is I'll close the bonnet down and I'll show you where the issues are and how you can try and adjust them. So I'll take the bonnet. It's a bit heavy just now because there's no helper spring on it, so I'll have to pull on it a bit. Okay. So when I put the bonnet down, you'll see, first thing you'll see is the scuttle line is terrible. You can see it's right up in the air over there and here. And then when you come down here, you can see the gap is awful. But one thing you can see about the gap is that the distance here, or the gap here, and then the gap here at this end, this is a lot reduced. So you can see that the bonnet's actually tilting down, so that means it needs some spaces in the front, so that this line here and this lower line are level. The next big issue was, again, you have to look for these where all the contact points are. I'll stick this light on because you won't be able to see it very well otherwise. And you can see here that this is terrible, it's sticking out. You can see how far it's sticking out, and you can see from the side that that is higher at the back again, even though it's not anywhere near down, than that's going to be. So it means this one needs to have shims in it as well. But if you notice, right on that frame, can you see? I'll lift this up maybe. You can just see there's a contact point there, and this is rubbing onto that metal frame. So not only does it need to come up, but when it does come up, it'll actually come up higher and it'll miss this. But it's catching on there, and that's why the bonnet won't go down. And you can see on the other side that that's not happening. Even though you can see, excuse me for this, but you can see there's no contact between the two of them. There is actually a gap. You can see it there. So the reason that gap is there is not because there's no shims in the top one, but there's shims in this front one. Of course, it's pushing it forward, and as it's pushing it forward, it's taking it further away from this. So that's what's happening. It's the contact point that's the issue, rather than anything else. And the bonnet is sloping to the front. So they can be a bit fiddly, these bonnets. They can take quite some time to get sorted out. And the problem is with this particular job for Nigel is he's going to have to strip it down again, because I've given him this, or he's taken this off me. He's bought it off me for a minimal sum because he needs it and I don't. Oh, and for the guy wrote into me on an email, Julian, I believe. Is it Julian? Oh, Julian's the other one. One of the guys, I can't remember off the top of my head now, but he asked me what the height was from the bottom of this bar to this lower section, and it's 109 centimetres. So from the bottom of there, and it would depend on how big the wheels were, but from the bottom there to the bottom of that tubing is 109. But you can make it any height you like. The only reason I made it that height was it was enough height to have with the wood that I had at the time to stack the bonnet on. So 109 centimetres that is. Anyway, so like I say, now I have to mess with these hinges and try and find or make spacers to do the job, and then space it up. And then obviously the nice thing about the spacers, they can be left on with the hinges, and or at least put back in exactly the same order. So that's it for today. A lot of work in getting this thing right, and it's up and down constantly, and you know, try to get a few millimeters here and there. So okay, that's it for now. So as you can see, the bonnet's looking a bit better. I've got some more shims in it now on the top of the hinges. I'll just take you and show you, still nowhere near. You can see that bonnet line is better than it was, a lot better, and the gap there is wrong, you can see. But I have what I've done is I've taken I've unbolted this. Oh, why does this keep going out of focus? I've unbolted this strengthener that goes between the centre panel and the wing, So there's some flexibility in this piece, and you can see if I push it in, the line is getting better. I've put the latch on, and you can see here, hang on, I'll show there's the latch in there, the chrome piece. So what I'll do is I'll open it and you'll see how much tension it's under. And you can see that's sitting nowhere right. So there's a lot to do. I'll just lift it up so you can see what's going on. So you can see you can see that's actually broken. This is see it's snapped. Can you see it? Yeah, there, snapped. This basically is a pin which goes into this, and it's just a guide pin, and then it pushes it down onto this mechanism here, which is what holds the bonnet on. There's a bar underneath there, as you can see, and it goes around that bar and pulls it down. So the bonnet won't go down without these latches. So as you see, you go along, this is it fully back, and as you push it forward, it catches. Yeah. And that pulls this forward. So obviously there's a thread on the end of this bar here, so the more thread you put on, the further it will go forward, the more it will push down. So as you can see, I've put shims in there. There's three, excuse me, I'm in the light of it. There's 3 shims in the top there, and nothing in the back because we don't need the distance forward. And there's 2 on that side, so that needs to be raised slightly. So that's where we are. So I'll have to work on these mechanisms, and as you can see, these gussets are out at the moment because all they're doing is interfering with this edge here. So I'll put the gussets back in once. These are going to be scrapped. These are the ones that are here. So we just did a basic repair on them to use them. You can see they're all badly damaged and everything. And sorry, I'll try and keep this in the camera shot. You can see how badly damaged they are along there, and especially along these where they've got wide edges on and there's wire inside, but you can see they're quite rusted. Try and keep this camera in the right place. There you go. And the one on the other side had a small repair done to it, but they're like £48 I think, or something, or 58 quid each. So it isn't worth repairing them. There's the other one. We did do a repair in this. We put that piece into it. Sean did it, and that bit down the bottom, but we didn't do it finish it, just had to use it. You can see it's not even finished off. It was just to make it one piece so we can use it as a guide. So yeah, that's what we're at. So yeah, so we'll get a bit more work done tomorrow, and hopefully I'll start having a look at the Mini Cooper and the panels. I'll bring the console round and we'll see how we're going from there. So that's it for this video.